Okay, Eduardo, could you tell us a little bit about how you got into coffee, a little bit about your work in ANACAFE, and why it is that you decided to start a company that is essentially a service provider that's connecting us buyers to producers. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Do you want the short version or the long version?
However you wish to tell the tale.
Okay. Well, the I will start with the short version,
Okay, let's
and
do that.
the answer for everything is luckiness and accident. Yeah, because I actually started when I was very young. In Guatemala, when we are at college, we are requested to do some like like office practices.
Mm-hmm.
So I was, let's see, I was 15 at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up doing those practices in an exporter company. I was so lucky because I got a good friend of the copper in that office at that time.
Yep.
So yeah, so we got a good friends, and he actually allowed me to go in the lab and to try some coffee. So I realized that I actually could identify some things, and at that time that was like wow, this is a nice thing that I discovered,
Yeah.
right? And then I finished college, and I got a formal position in that company,
Mm-hmm.
and I spent for maybe 1 year and a half or something like that. And I heard that there was a position at ANACAFE. I left that company and I got the position. It was in 1993. And the position was basically to control some small producers database.
Uh-huh.
Uh, so I was so lucky because I had the chance of going to the fields to check the wet mills. That was a huge ingredient to my career because I had some background about copying, but having that chance of correlating what I was at that time able to perceive and correlate to the reality in the coffee field, that was just awesome. So I was
Mm.
so lucky, and I spent maybe 3 years doing that. And of course, being young, I was 17 or 18 at that time. So being young and having that opportunity of going to the fields and to new people, to new places in Guatemala,
Yeah.
that was
That
just
was very
fascinating to
thrilling.
me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I spent almost 20 years there since
Wow.
that time. Yeah, so it was such amazing experience. If you ask me, I didn't feel that time until I left on a cafe. I said myself, wow, 20 years, that's a long time.
It,
It just flowed,
yeah.
you know?
Is that because you were
Yeah.
doing a variety of different work? Y-
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because it, even though, the main role was quality control and also copying, of course, but I had the chance of experimenting different things because I think that's the main advantage of being part of an cafe because you have the chance of not only of experimenting different qualities, different processings, but also because I had the chance of experimenting the coffee, the coffee market evolution. There is a huge change in the coffee market since maybe 15 years ago
Yeah.
to what we have now, you know. And also at the same time, I was blessed of being part of the Cup of Excellence program, the Q rating program
Mm-hmm.
since the beginning. So that has given me a good chance to understand the coffee market better. And truly, I'm not saying that because how to say because I don't know how to say. What I'm trying to say is that that has been a great experience to me because now I can understand the coffee market better, and that's why I decided to live in a cafe,
Mm-hmm.
from a cafe, and experiment something else, and to be more active in the coffee industry. And of course, because I honestly wanted to do my own thing,
Yeah.
and with my family, and that is what I'm doing now. So now, having my wife next to me and my brother Edwin,
Yeah.
it's it's a different feeling,
Yeah.
but
Absolutely.
yeah, it's just amazing, just nice. I'm
Yeah.
enjoying that.
Yeah. Well, it's
Yeah,
wonderful to see that. I mean, I think it's great that you acknowledge that. Uh, it really is quite lucky, and I feel like I'm in the same boat to have entered an industry just as it was about to explode. And it's such a positive industry. Specialty coffee, obviously, is what I'm talking about. That has must have had a such a profound impact on Guatemala, which produces such good coffee, and the effect that the increased demand worldwide now for great coffees has had on the prices of coffee in Guatemala. And I guess now what you're doing is connecting more and more farmers with that quality potential to buyers that are paying really good prices. And I think this year is a great example of how important that is because the C price is very low. So people, farmers fortunate enough to have um, a quality product and market access are doing very well this year. Is that
yeah,
is that
yeah.
how you see it?
Yes, and what I actually like of what I am doing now is that I remember the price crisis when I was at ANACAFE, for instance, in 1996 or 2002. I remember people. You can see people like nervous, like stressful about the price market, and for many producers, still the big question every time is the market and if the current market is going to cover their costs. And it's like this stressful question every year,
Mm-hmm.
and so what I like of this model is that people even don't realize about the coffee market because they now have a more position to explore the market and to get a better price and sustainable price for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You talked a little bit earlier about ANACAFE. You spent 20 years there. Can you just briefly describe what exactly ANACAFE is, what they do?
yeah, absolutely. ANACAFE is, of course, the main coffee entity here in Guatemala. ANACAFE by itself is an association. It's the National Coffee Association in Guatemala, and it's named by law, actually, by an act of Congress to take the coffee business in general. However, what I like of this model is that ANACAFE belongs to the producers, and the main role of ANACAFE is to make the producer more sustainable, to give them the technical tools to be more competitive in terms of quality, in terms of uh, technical aspects,
Mm-hmm.
and of course to be more competitive in terms of market. But maybe the main job that ANACAFE has done and that has covered the majority is the promotion, the reputation of Guatemalan coffee that ANACAFE has built.
Uh-huh.
So the idea of launching an image of Guatemalan coffees has been just great, and that has helped to not only to build the reputation of Guatemalan coffee, but also to encourage the people to to look for a good quality. I think that has been like the most successful uh, thing that ANACAFE has done.
So promoting
Promotion
Acatenango,
in general.
Huehuetenango, Antigua, all these different
Exactly.
regions, the appellations that were really uh, successfully marketed by Guatemala in order to create this different products, different specialty products. I'll show the map in the
Exactly.
presentation so everyone knows what you're talking about. Um,
Yeah, because now people in the market they can do like a link not only to the Guatemala coffees in general, but specific clusters.
uh-huh.
And I think that isolating a specific cluster makes the traceability easier.
Moving on to a specific, on the topic of traceability, into Acatenango, um, onto the farm that we purchased from this year, El Carmen, the farm of Juan Jose Mejia. What can you tell us about his farm? How long have you known him, and why have you decided to represent him?
Well, basically, because I'm looking for people first that are able to to put effort in the quality, basically. And yeah, I'm looking more for farms that are able to classify their coffees to make the difference from the generic quality to very
Mm-hmm.
specific quality ones. So in that case, I decided to select El Carmen first because the quality. I tried El Carmen a few years ago, and El Carmen was a nice coffee, amazing coffee. Actually, they entered into the Cup of Excellence competition, and they won, I think, a couple of years ago,
Mm-hmm.
which is a good indicator to me to to say if the farm is doing well or not. Uh, but also because they have understood this new trend, this new high end quality trend. That is not matter of just doing the wet mill well,
Mm-hmm.
but also that they can do still something better and better.
We received a yellow bourbon lot from El Carmen this year,
Yeah.
and from our perspective, it's a real privilege to be able to taste something.
Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
can you hear me,
Hello.
Eduardo?
Hey, Tuli.
Hello,
Hello.
hello.
Hi, Tuli.
You can hear me?
Yeah. I hear you now.
Okay, I think my video. Can you see me?
No, just your picture
Oh,
and some bags in the back. Yeah, yeah. Now
okay.
I can do. Mhm.
Um, so what I was saying was we see it as a great privilege to be able to receive this lot of such a specific selection, only yellow bourbon, and to be able to taste that on its own and understand the special characteristics of that variety. And hopefully next year we'll be able to receive a different variety from the farm and understand how that varies. And I think from the from the consumer side, that's seen as a very special experience and one worth rewarding with higher prices. So, as you say, it's really great when we can work with farmers who have understood that um, entering this market and doing a little bit of extra work through separation and through careful QC can find quite a lucrative business model for themselves.
Right, right. It
Mm.
is very important. And on another hand, Tuli, some people have that willingness, and sometimes the administration or the cash flow is not exactly a good advantage for this guy. So that will be like the second stage. That's why I encourage people that actually has good potential, do little by little.
Yeah.
Maybe this year just separate, I don't know, 15 bucks or your best 15 bucks or 20 bucks, whatever. But start with something,
Yeah.
right? And let's do the exercise, and then we can see the next year. And yeah, grow little by little. And yeah, in this case, El Carmen, they have completely understood that.
Well, I can tell you that everyone that has tasted El Carmen so far um, can clearly see that it's a very unique and special coffee. And we're doing a lot of, we're putting a lot of effort into uh, communicating to people that this is a really fascinating and unique product. There isn't a coffee that tastes exactly like that anywhere else in the world, even in Acatenango. And hopefully, um, we're doing our part to help build awareness that this is a great product that people should get behind so that more farmers can enter this market and more consumers are going to want to pay extra money to have that experience. So,
Julie, I have to be honest with you. I am a very technical guy, and I am coming from a lab and even an institution that is not focused on doing business.
mm-hmm,
Uh, um, so myself, I am also understanding this market as well, because I mean I really enjoy work with these farmers, go to the fields and do that separation. Uh, and also I am learning how to expose these farmers and how to find the best model for these guys.
mm-hmm.
And of course for myself. And yeah, it has been a nice pathway since I started the last harvest. And yeah, I'm happy, to have found farmers like Juan Jose, because they are a clear example that having good potential, of course, having willingness, as some patience
Mm-hmm.
at certain point, you can change completely the traditional model of doing coffee business. And yeah, I'm happy of experimenting that part.